So let's go back to Maine for just a minute. Camden, where I was tortured and held in slavery for. It's hard. Time gets so broken when you're so traumatized. I was being tortured. No one was. I couldn't tell the truth about what was happening to me because my torturers prevented me. Because when you're being tortured, even when they're not in the room, you're so in danger that you just. The only thing I could think of was, and what I thought of all the time was, how do I kill myself to free myself, to escape? And there was at one point a river, a very fast running river near where I was staying. And all I could think of all day was, how do I get to the river to drown myself? And you know what? I never even got to the river. It was right down the hill. My predators didn't want me to die. I think they wanted to steal my shit, right? And if I died, then they wouldn't be able to do that. I couldn't even get to the river. That's how controlled I was at that point. Because I was being tortured. That's what happens. Anyway, so something else I wanted to say is that recently, very recently, like last year, because law enforcement refuses to open an investigation. And there are other women that were held there, at least when I was there. I think they may be dead now. I don't know. And that sounded like I don't care, and I care. But anyway, so our federal law enforcement, as far as I can tell, is taking women's tax-paying dollars and using it to obliterate, oppress, and enslave us, because the FBI did nothing, has done nothing. And not just them. I have called out to every law enforcement. And if you go on my X account, you can see me publicly doing it. And they have not responded ever. So, and I'm just one person, right? And my saying is, where there's one, there's many. So there's a lot of women. All women, really, right? We're all in extreme danger because our tax dollars are being used by law enforcement to oppress us. And then this other level, so I on my own reached out to Knox County, Maine, where I was enslaved, and tried to FOIA, which is Freedom of Information Act. So I tried to get my quote-unquote criminal file, where they had framed me for stalking my predator, Ethan Shaw. And it's filled with all kinds of illegal shit. I mean, it's filled with nonsense and also just illegal shit that the DA did. And I'm sure doesn't want me to get a hold of. So they were in contact with me for a little while. Wendy was the clerk. And ladies, do not comply. Wendy, honey, if you're listening to this, send me the information. What are they going to do? Kill you? Okay, well, you're going to die anyway. Die fighting. Women are running these offices, these law enforcement offices that are killing women. Backs. There's a lot of women who work in backs. Do not comply. Why are you working for the enemy? Literally the enemy, capital E. Evil itself. Why are you doing that? Don't work with them. If you're in law enforcement and you're a woman, you're a clerk, send me the file. Don't work with them. Anyway, 2 months after I tried to get my quote-unquote criminal file, just to have the evidence, they didn't send it to me. And then they filed a totally bullshit retaliative tax. They used the IRS to tax me. This is 4 years out, by the way, after I had left. 4 years, no. I fled in 2019. This was last year, so 19, 20, 21... 5 years after I had left Maine. Now, 2 months after I had tried to get use my rights, right? It's my right to get information in my public file. It's actually my right to get every single email, text that was sent about me. And I tried to get that. They didn't give me anything. And then 5 years after I had left Knox County, and 2 months after I tried to get my criminal file, They filed a $90,000 tax lien on me. They used the IRS to do that. Think about that. Think about what tools they are using. American taxpayers, right? We're 52% of the population. Do not comply. And that's actually the second one, because when I tried to sell my house that they forced me to buy that I couldn't afford and would never have wanted to buy there, and that they used basically to torture me, and then other stuff that I'm not going to go into here, but there was another like completely bogus made up tax on me. Like, I don't know, it's like 70,000 or something. And at that point I tried, I was suicidal. I just escaped from this horrific. I wanted to die. I was like, you're so traumatized. And I tried to fight it a little bit, and then I just fucking paid it. And now, of course, I have no money, right? And that's kind of like the fallback. They impoverish us, assuming that eventually we'll be homeless. Actually, most women are homeless. Like, the data shows that 99% of women are homeless. Yeah. But they impoverish us because that's a pretty easy way to kill us without, with our hands off, basically, right? If we're really poor and we're homeless, we die of exposure or starvation or whatever. It's a very hands-off way of killing us. So that's, I think, the number one way that the patriarchy enslaves women. It impoverishes us intentionally. It keeps us poor. There wouldn't be homelessness or poverty in America if it weren't for the fact that most men wouldn't have a woman in their life, because they're nasty, right? They're like him, without the imminent threat of those two things. So women are forced. It's called modern slavery.